does the Quorum of the 12 achieve unanimity in decisions? Now, this is a good question for councils. As I mentioned earlier, I've been in that quorum for over 33 years, and I had that same question when I came into the quorum. How do you get 12 people of such different backgrounds and opinions and experience to have unanimity? And I was fascinated to see how that would happen, because before being called to the 12, I had spent 9 years as president of BYU, and at that time the board that I reported to consisted of the Quorum of the 12 and the First Presidency and the Relief Society president, then Bill Spafford. And as I sat in those board meetings and brought in issues for resolution, I heard in the discussions of that board some very different opinions. Very different opinions. And I knew that the 11 men who were senior to me when I joined that quorum were not shrinking violets, and they were filled with different ways of looking at problems that came before. So I was interested. But I'll give you the benefit of 33 years of counsel, and I think it'll be a good example for you in your ward councils. I've observed that in the matters that come before the Quorum of the 12, they can be divided roughly into two different kinds of matters. There are the minor matters or routine matters. And I better not give examples because I don't want anything to be said, but they're repetitive, routine matters that come before the council frequently. And while one person could object to one of those matters, that rarely happens because there are precedents, and we know what the First Presidency will do, and we know what the president of our quorum thinks. Translate that into the bishop and the stake president in your own situation. And they are relatively routine matters that come before us. And on those kind of matters, it's very easy to defer to the precedent or the opinion of the president of the quorum, unless the Spirit speaks strongly to you to ask for a delay, which does happen from time to time. Let me have a little time to think about that, or let me have time to check something on that. That can happen. But it doesn't happen very often because the things that come to us have been looked at carefully. And that's one way that unanimity occurs. And broadly, I would say it's deferring to the bishop and what he and his counselors have worked out. What you know to be the way we handled this question last time it came up. Then, the more interesting thing are what I would call the major matters. And some very major matters come to the Quorum of the 12 in advance of our submitting them with our recommendation to the First Presidency. Sometimes where we have the authority to make the decision in the Quorum of the 12. When major matters come up, it's a different thing. If there are differences of opinion that emerge in the discussion, we usually defer them. And we all pray and seek to know what is the will of the Lord. And we discuss them. And sometimes we may discuss them several times. And then we try to be meek and search our souls about whether the difference that we have with our brethren is personal or ill-timed or whatever. And we keep discussing it until it falls into line. We're patient. And that may take only 1 week to the next meeting. It may take several months. It may take years. But we do not proceed on major matters until we are unified by being brought together by the Spirit of the Lord. Now that's the principle that I report in response to that question, and I think that's the way the Lord wants to do it. Whether it's the 3 in a bishopric or the 3 in a Relief Society presidency, the Lord set up a council and to teach us, and I think it's the 107th section of the Doctrine and Covenants, that we should be unanimous. And I am one who has been adamantly committed to position number B. And after pursuing patience and meekness and prayer, I've seen that I was on the wrong side, and I made the motion to approve option number B. Was it A I was against? Whatever, you understand the principle that